All right, today we're going to dive deep and travel back in time. We're going to meet the granddaddy of every single gadget you own, the very first computer.
So when I say computer, what pops into your head? A laptop, right? Or maybe the smartphone in your pocket. But let me ask you, what do you think the world's first computer looked like? I'll bet you anything, it's not what you're picturing.
Okay, to even begin to answer that, you have to totally reset your expectations. We're not talking about something that fits in your pocket or even on your desk. No, we need to think bigger, like way, way bigger. We're talking about a machine on a scale that's just, honestly, it's hard to wrap your head around today.
You know, the story of the first computer, it doesn't start in some garage in Silicon Valley. Nope, it starts smack in the middle of a world at war, World War II. There was this huge, critical problem that needed solving, and fast. And I mean, lives were literally on the line.
So, what was this big problem? Well, the U.S. Army had to calculate these things called artillery firing tables. Think of them as super complex cheat sheets for gunners, telling them exactly where to aim. And these weren't simple calculations. You had to account for everything: distance, wind, humidity, even the spin of the Earth. People were doing this by hand, which was painfully slow, and well, one tiny mistake could have devastating consequences. They needed something faster, something better.
And it's right there, out of that desperate need, that this revolutionary solution comes into play. A true electronic giant was fired up for the very first time, built to crunch these numbers at speeds nobody even thought was possible.
So, let's just lay it out. The 1940s, a world at war, creates this massive need for speed. Then, boom, 1945, the solution arrives, a brand new kind of machine. And that one invention, it kicked off everything. It was the start of the modern computing era we're living in right now.
And this incredible machine had a name. It was called ENIAC. That stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. It's a mouthful, I know, but that name basically tells you exactly what it was built to do.
Now, you might think something this important was built in some secret government bunker, right? But nope. It was actually developed out in the open by a brilliant team at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay, to really understand how massive ENIAC was, you got to hear this number. Are you ready? 18,000. That's roughly how many vacuum tubes it had. A vacuum tube is kind of like a tiny fragile light bulb that acts like a switch. Now, just try to imagine getting 18,000 of those things to all work together at the same time without one burning out. It's just, it's a mind-boggling feat of engineering.
So with all that gear, all those tubes, all the wires, where do you put it? Well, it took up a ton of space. I'm not kidding when I say this thing filled an entire room. Forget a desktop. This was literally a room-sized computer.
Okay, so let's recap real quick. We've got 1945, University of Pennsylvania. A team builds the first general-purpose electronic computer, ENIAC. Its mission, to run calculations for the U.S. Army. This thing is massive, takes up a whole room, and is powered by nearly 18,000 vacuum tubes, and it was about to change the world forever.
But here's the thing. ENIAC was way more than just a really big calculator. Its creation was the starting gun for a whole new age of technology. It literally set the stage for the world we live in right now.
And that's its real legacy, right? That moment, ENIAC was powered on. That's it. That's the beginning of modern computing. Seriously, every single thing. Your phone, the apps on it, the websites you visit, you can draw a direct line from all of that right back to this one giant room-sized machine.
So think about that. We went from a computer that filled a room to one that fits in your pocket in just a handful of decades. That's insane, right? The speed of that change is just incredible. It really makes you wonder, what's the next giant